Hey kids, how are you? Time for a children's message. And this Sunday, I'm going to be talking to the adults about wisdom. Some of the books in the Bible that talk about wisdom. And I'm wondering if you know what it means to be wise. What does it mean to be wise? Well, I think one of the answers would be that to be wise would be to do the smart thing, maybe the best solution or the best thing. Okay, I want to share a song with you. I think maybe some of you have heard it before, but before I do that, it talks about building a house and building a house on sand or building a house on rock. And I'm wondering how many of you have ever built a sand castle by the beach. Okay, well, I think it's kind of fun to build a sand castle, and one of the things that's fun about building a sand castle is trying to protect it from the waves that are coming in, because what happens when the waves come in and maybe surround your sand castle? It kind of floats away, or it starts to crumble, doesn't it? Because the water can cause the sand to move away, to give way. And so Jesus in the New Testament tells a parable about a man who builds a house on sand or a man who builds a house on rock. And so it would seem that the wise thing to do would be to build a house on rock, wouldn't it? Because if those same waves came up to a house built on rock, it wouldn't, the water wouldn't cause the rock to fall apart. Okay, the rock is strong, and so the house would stay strong because it was built on rock. And so that would be the wise thing to do, would be to build a house on rock and not on sand. Okay? So let's sing our song. It goes like this, and I'll try and remember some of the actions too that go with this song. Okay? The wise man built his house upon the rock. The wise man built his house upon the rock. The wise man built his house upon the rock, and the rains came tumbling down. The rains came down, and the floods came up. The rains came down, and the floods came up. The rains came down, and the floods came up, but the house on the rock stood firm. The foolish man built his house upon the sand. The foolish man built his house upon the sand. The foolish man built his house upon the sand, and the rains came tumbling down. The rains came down, and the floods came up. The rains came down, and the floods came up. The rains came down and the floods came up, and the house on the sand went swoosh. All right, okay. So Jesus was telling about the wise thing to do would be the smart thing, to build the house on rock and not on sand. Okay, so you can think about the things that would be wise decisions. Okay, what would be the smart thing to do, and to know that that's doing wisdom, doing things that seem good, and it's to make a good decision, to be wise. All right, we'll see you next week. Thanks. Bye-bye.